Hello everybody, this is Harry and I'm back to make a new video. Today's episode is going to be out about a brochure book here. It's made by Hersheypark and it's made for people who want to have a picnic at the park. This is from 1929 and this booklet has several different pages. I believe it has quite a few pages about the things that the park has, as well as a mention of the chocolate company as well and the park zoo. So I'm going to be discussing this today in this video. It's from 1929 and mentions the new pool that we know as the old pool now, and it replaced the original pool that was in the Comet Hollow area between 1907-8 through 1928. So it's a very interesting book to take a look at. We recently looked at the group trip kit from 1981, so this is kind of similar to that in a sense, although they didn't provide any catering at that time back in the day. They just had picnic tables and things, pavilions for people to sit at and have a picnic there from companies and whatnot. So I'm going to just show you this for this episode today. I hope you enjoy it very much, and let's get it going. Okay, so here is the booklet. I don't recall offhand how many number of pages it is, but there's quite a few, as you can see here. It might be between 12 and 16 pages, but we'll know what it is actually. I'm just making this video now, so let's just take a look through this. So you can see there's a picture of the elk statue that was at the main entrance and is now next to the Zoo America entrance. And you can see where the season began and when it ended, and that it's an ideal pleasure ground for central Pennsylvania, providing happiness for 1 million people each year. Now, I don't know if it's true that they actually had 1 million people every year that year, because we don't really know exactly how true that is, although it probably was. I mean, when Hersheypark became gated, they didn't have 1 million visitors officially until 1973, but it's certainly possible that they certainly would have had that, especially since the park was open gated and it's technically then being open year-round, although the rides were only operating between those dates of Memorial Day and Labor Day. They did have different events that would be in other months, so I'm sure it probably slowed down into the winter months as well. So let me open the page here, and you can see that it just opens to this, which is a larger picture there. And there's also a quote here from Josiah Strong, which I found to be rather interesting. It says, "The universal impulse to play is a divinely ordered thing. If God gives the instinct, man ought to supply the playground." Josiah Strong. And I can't disagree with that whatsoever. I think that's very true. Now, when you turn the page, the first thing you'll see here is several paragraphs. Right here, you can see what the policy of the park has been. And you'll take notice that it says Hersheypark inception was in 1905. This differs from the research that I found that state that the park opened in 1906, which differs from the company's current establishment date of 1907 as well, which just kind of shows you how confusing it's been over the years. And that certainly has happened, as I've seen in other parks as well. I believe the reason why they stated the inception of 1905 is because that's when they began building things in the park for its opening in 1906. So you could say the inception is in 1905 and then its official opening is in 1906. I believe Kennywood Park in the Pittsburgh area has kind of something similar, that the inception of the park was actually just several months before the end of the year that it actually opened, and then it opened fully in the following year. So I think Hersheypark kind of did the same thing there. So that's probably why it says that. For example, the pavilion that became the Penny Arcade that was removed after the 1989 season, that was originally built in late summer, fall of 1905, and then was prepared for the 1906 opening of the park. So that's probably why they went with that inception of 1905. You can see a description about the park here, and then how to contact Hersheypark management. I will have as a note, I will have a transcript uploaded at some point with this, because I did transcribe this as well. Here's a picture that's commonly seen of the creek. You can see people boating in it and a bridge crossing over. And then you can see that it's just describing tables and benches and how many people can be accommodated and what can be used. It's also noted that filtered water, sanitary drinking fountains, that was something that was commonly mentioned at that time, as not all places necessarily were quite sanitary as Hersheypark was. You can see here's a picture of the ball field, the athletic field, and a description about that. They also mention a playground that was at the park. And I believe that playground that they mentioned was located approximately near where the bumper cars would be. Not quite on that same spot as Fender Bender, certainly not there, but a little further back, like closer to the Music Box Theater. So I would say it's a more approximate location. Right around the area of the Music Box Theater is probably more accurate. But it might have gotten a little closer to where the bumper cars are, more like where Coco Cruiser is. And then on this page, you can see a picture of the park restaurant. That is the pavilion that became the Penny Arcade that was removed after the 1989 season. And you can just see the description here. And it also mentions that they sell Hershey products. Go figure. So then you turn the page here, and you can see the convention hall right here from the what was then called Spring Lake. And then just a description about the convention hall. This predates when it became the Ice Palace. It started to be named the Ice Palace when they would put ice on the floor in 1931. And then here's a picture of the ballroom when it was just known as Hersheypark Ballroom or Hersheypark Dance Pavilion. It was eventually renamed the Starlight Ballroom, I believe, in 1957. That was when they renovated it and opened the roof, and hence you could see the starlight, and then hence the name. So then you turn the page again, and you can see about the new pool. And this was a clear hint that this being from 1929, specifically the new pool, but also using a picture that is a drawing of what the pool is going to look like rather than a picture of the pool itself, because obviously when they produced this, then the pool hadn't been completed. So you can see the description of the bathhouse, and that people should go there and hit up the pool. And then on this page, you can see a picture of the Wildcat. At the time, it still would have been called the Joyride. And you can see that pretty far out there past that bridge. You can see a couple of picnic pavilions. And this talks about the amusements. And it's interesting to note that they referred to the ride as the Giant Roller Coaster. It definitely had its name, so why they didn't just use the name is really unclear. A lot of advertisements also just called it the Giant Roller Coaster. So I'm not really sure why there's a difference there, why in that sense. But it was definitely called the Joyride, and then it was called the Wildcat. But it also talks about shooting galleries and skee ball alleys and various different rides that the park had. The bumper cars is the scooter. Obviously, they wanted the Denzel carousel at that time. The mill chute was brand new. the miniature railway, of course, and then a couple of kiddie rides, the aeroplane swing, which is later renamed the airplane swing, and the kiddie Ferris wheel. Those were installed in 1926. The children's motorboat ride was installed in 1928, I believe. And then, so you have a nice description there of all the things. And we turn the page again, and you can see a picture of the kiddie Ferris wheel that was installed in 1926. And stuff about the penny arcade and the miniature railroad. And then they also had pony rides for the kids' enjoyment, as well as boating and canoeing. And certainly a reminder to revisit the park in the future. And then there's the section about the zoo right here, which of course was quite enjoyable for kids and families. So there's a nice description there. And then this is the last section. Of course, it can't go without being said about the factory, with being able to get tours of the plant. And then on this last page on the back cover, it's just kind of a description, a final analysis, as this says, about going to the park. And of course, it also mentions the safety of the park and how people can park and whatnot. I thought that this final analysis was very interesting to read. And then again we say Hersheypark for healthful recreation. And then the back page is just blank. Alright everybody, well I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed going through this booklet with to show to you guys. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy this, please hit the like button. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe. This certainly helps the channel out immensely. So again, thank you very much for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you want to see more, subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. Thank you very much for watching.